世界のみんなとつながろう Bridges across world communities.
Hello everyone and welcome to Bridges Across World Communities, sponsored by NIA, the Nishinomiya City International Association. My name is Floyd.
And my name is Thelma. Each month we provide practical knowledge for daily living and important information about disaster prevention.
This program is for English-speaking residents in the Nishinomiya area and is broadcast on the second and fourth Saturday of each month from 12 noon to 12:15.
This month we'll talk about rice and vegetable stands where you can buy fresh products directly from local farms in Nishinomiya.
And in the second half of our program, we have an interview with Michiru Adrienne, English teacher and writer who recently published her first collection of poetry.
提供は西宮市国際交流協会です。
Well, Thelma, it's September and our hot and unusually rainy summer is finally coming to an end.
Yeah, this summer was strange, wasn't it, Floyd?
Yeah.
Hopefully we can enjoy the nice autumn weather that's now on its way.
Yeah, I've heard several expressions for ways to enjoy this time of year, things like autumn's for reading, autumn for sports, autumn for art, things like that.
Yeah, I've heard those too, but I prefer autumn for eating because of all the fresh fruits and vegetables available in autumn.
Of course, I forgot about that. Now, I was a little concerned about this year's harvest because of all the rain we had last month in August. Do you have any news from the farming community at all?
Yeah, well, I often buy vegetables directly from our local farmers, and they seem to be doing fine.
Okay, that's good to hear. My wife and I prefer to eat locally produced food because, we feel it's healthier for us.
Yeah, well, not only that, it's better for the environment too.
Yeah, we also wonder if much rice or vegetables are really grown locally in Nishinomiya.
Yes, of course. Nishinomiya is a lot bigger than most people realize. It covers over 100 square kilometers and extends northward over the mountains to include the Yamaguchi, Shiose, in Funasaka areas. And these are other areas produce excellent rice, fruits, and vegetables.
And sweet potatoes too? I always associate sweet potatoes with the taste of autumn.
Yes, Floyd, and sweet potatoes too, of course.
What a relief. Okay, so where can we buy rice and vegetables produced in Nishinomiya?
I thought you'd never ask that. Ta-da!
What? Oh! What's that? What is that?
Well, this is the Nishinomiya Vegetable Direct Sales Stands map. And that was published in July. It's an easy-to-use map of the city's 24 direct sale vegetable stands. Along with other store information, it's in Japanese only. But each stand has a number and is easy to find on the map.
Yeah, that's kind of good. Let me have a look at this. One second.
Okay.
Okay. It looks like you don't even have to go to the northernmost parts of the city. There's some stands are right along Route 171. North of Nishinomiya Kiriguchi Station, and there's even some in Naruho and the Koshien areas.
Yeah.
That's neat.
I like going to the direct sale shop of J.A. Yogoroko along Route 171, a little north of City Hall, and they also sell processed foods and flowers. About 50 registered producers sell their produce there, and so it has selection and is a great place to shop.
I found if you look carefully, you can also buy locally grown fruits and vegetables at some supermarkets, like the co-op stores at Frente, Acta, Kurakuen, even Aeon Nishinomiya and Corolla, I think that's how it's pronounced, Corolla Koshien. They sell locally grown produce also.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Now, I bought some locally grown blueberries at Co-op the other day, and they were delicious. They were really good.
I love blueberries. And why don't you bring some of the studio right now?
Well, sorry, they don't last long at our house. I'll bring some next time.
Okay. I have a good tip for locating direct sales areas.
What's that?
Well, look for the tall yellow banner with Miyatan holding a basket of vegetables.
Oh.
This is the sign that they post at direct sales areas.
Now, for people who don't know, Miyatan is Nishinomiya City's famous blue-colored mascot.
Yes. A map of direct sales location can be downloaded from Agrico Nishinomiya, the Nishinomiya City Agricultural Support website. Just do a web search for Agrico in hiragana.
You can also do a search for Nishinomiya Yasai. Now, most shops are only open in the morning from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So it's a good idea to check the information before you go.
Yes, and also when you go to the market, don't forget to bring an eco bag to carry your fruits and vegetables home.
I'd like to welcome our guest this month, Michiru Adrienne. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
Now, we mentioned at the top of the show that you recently published a book of poems.
That's
You
right.
want to tell us anything about that?
Sure. It's called 12 Moons and the Sea, A Journey Home. It's a collection of poems and photography, which I put together over a period of about 12 months of 1 year.
Now, I understand you did everything. You did the book design, the photography, the layout, everything like that.
That's right. It's sort of like this comprehensive creative project. And for this one specifically, it was really important that I could control every aspect, especially there's this visual component to the poetry as well in terms of the spacing of the words and the layout of the text itself and how that combines with the photography to create an overall impact.
I think it came together quite nicely. Now, the full title, 12 Moons and the Sea, A Journey Home. I was kind of struck by this whole journey aspect. And basically, I think it's in your book or somebody else who wrote this, saying that she found her home even before realizing she had been searching for home all along. So it's kind of interesting how the book seems to start out. I think, in fact, I'll just read the very first thing here.
It's quite
what
deep,
struck
yeah.
me.
I love it.
Alone with the moon in an ocean of dark sky, I sing my way home. Seems like a very empty kind of a searching kind of a statement. And then by the end of the book, it seems after a year, I guess you've kind of resolved. You seem to have found home.
Yeah, that's right. It has this element of a personal narrative and a personal journey from the beginning to the end, which is one layer of the book, which is not always found in poetry books. Oftentimes you can sort of flip through a book of poems and read one here or there, and they have a theme that ties it together. But this one, it has a little bit of the story, an overarching story element to it. And the concept is very much this search for home, but it sort of takes the poet myself. It sort of takes the poet by surprise. It's not an intentional journey that I embarked on from the beginning. It just sort of arose spontaneously, and in that process, I think there's another layer of discovery and magic that can happen in that kind of spontaneous nature of the journey.
No, I mean, there's the cliche, home is where the heart is. And I think, obviously, we're not talking about a literal space of home here. It seems you're finding, or the end of the journey seems to be love, really, that you found love or beauty. And again, like you say, you can kind of go through this and can come to almost a resolution at the end, which is kind of uplifting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to keep that element in there. I think these concepts of love, light, beauty, those are sort of like, your North Star or whatever. So you're on this journey, you don't know exactly where you're going, but you keep following your heart. You follow that light, and you don't let go of that. And even if you don't know exactly what the destination is, that destination being metaphor or literal, whatever, if you stay the course, so to speak, you find your way there.
I love that statement there. So what makes you inspired of making these poems and in writings? Is there anything that inspires you most?
Do you mean these poems specifically? Or I mentioned earlier that I started sort of incidentally uploading an Instagram account to push myself to output creative writing. I desperately needed a personal creative outlet, and I've always written for a long time throughout my life, and so poetry for me has just been a creative expression, a personal creative expression related to whatever aspect of life I might be dealing with. The first poem I ever wrote in 7th grade was about war and like how children are suffering. So kind of a heavy theme for that time, but I think, it's always been an important part of my life.
it could be a good, inspiring for our teenagers lately. So maybe we could encourage them to do some kind of stuff like this.
I hope so.
They can express more their emotions through poems.
Exactly. They, teens really have that need, an intense need.
Exactly.
And just recently, it came up that I may have an opportunity. It's a little bit premature to say so, but I'm going to do a online training program for an excellent organization called Right Girl, WRITE, in LA.
Wow.
They support teen girls and mentor them in their writing process, and I'm so excited about that.
We're going to promote that. It's kind of great.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting talking about the process. I mean, in your book, I think you've got 37, maybe 38 poems, and this whole process was over a year. Sounds like. Is this something where you've selected works that you did over the year, or did you have hundreds of poems, or or were these written? Are these just what you wrote during that year? How did that come together?
Yeah, when I started, I had no intention to write a book from the beginning. That came up or evolved at some point later on. But I selected poems which I felt were relevant to this particular journey and this narrative. I do have other poems which I've written, and many of them I uploaded or published, on social media, but didn't include some that I've never posted or whatever. There's a few in here which I never posted on social media. They're only in this book.
Okay, we're running out of time, but what I'd like to do is come back again, finish this interview next month, and also like to have you read a couple.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
All right, so let's thanks for joining us this month, and we'll finish this next month.
Thank you.
防災情報です。
Well, autumn is here, which means it's typhoon season again in Japan.
That's right, and now's a good time to prepare for the coming storms with these important tips. You ready?
Keep up to date with the latest information on approaching typhoons from the radio, TV, or internet.
Stay indoors during a typhoon and even beforehand while it's approaching.
Store extra water and food supplies in case of water cut-offs and disaster conditions.
Keep a battery-operated radio handy and extra batteries for your smartphone, too.
Outdoor objects such as potted plants, gardening tools, and so on should be brought indoors, and they can become dangerous projectiles if caught in strong winds.
Now, clear the drainage areas around your house also, and this will help prevent flooding.
Last month, we had a lot of rain, and the ground is still saturated in some areas. Be aware that there's now an increased risk of landslides and mudslides, even with only a little bit of rain.
And lastly, find out which evacuation centers are near your home or office and know how to get there quickly.
Keep safe by being prepared. For answers to vaccination-related questions, call the Nishinomiya City New Coronavirus Vaccination Call Center at 0120-622-999. They're open every day from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., but service is only available in Japanese.
For vaccination information in English, check out the multilingual pages of the Nishinomiya City website or NIA's Facebook page.
NIA is now accepting applications for online Japanese language group lessons starting in September.
There will be elementary and intermediate lessons on Wednesdays and intermediate lessons on Sunday mornings. For more information, please visit the NIA website or Facebook page.
For assistance with things like vaccine appointments, filling out medical questionnaires, applications for Japanese language classes, and so on, please call the Nishinomiya City International Association at 0798-328680 or email us at nia@nishi.or.jp. 鉄球は西宮市国際交流協会でした。
Have a good weekend.
Keep safe, everyone.